Adding and subtracting integers. Remember how we introduced negative numbers? We asked, what's 4 minus 7? When subtracting numbers and the second number is greater than the first, your answer will end up being negative. Now that we have a new operation, subtraction, and new numbers, integers, we need new rules. The new rules are based on the old ones. We have to show how to do addition and subtraction with our newly invented negative integers. First, let's add a positive and negative integer, 4 plus negative 5. Before we start, we must understand that negative 5 means to move 5 spaces to the left, as shown below. So if we start at 0 and we subtract 5, we go 5 spaces to the left and we end up at negative 5. All right, now let's do this problem. 4 plus negative 5. We start at 0, we move 4 units to the right, then we move 5 units to the left, and we end up at negative 1. Therefore, 4 plus negative 5 is negative 1. Notice how in the problem 4 plus negative 5, we moved 5 spaces to the left, as shown below. This is also the same as subtracting 5. In other words, 4 plus 5 equals 4 minus 5. They're the same thing. Therefore, 4 plus negative 5 equals 4 minus 5, which equals negative 1. Addition is commutative, so we get the same answer for negative 5 plus 4. Therefore, negative 5, so we start at 0, we move to the left 5, then we add 4, so we go to the right 4, we still end up at negative 1. Now let's add two negative integers, negative 4 plus negative 5. Like in the last example, we start at 0, we move to the left 4. We have negative 4, so we move to the left 4. Then we continue to the left 5 more spaces. And we end up at negative 9. Therefore, negative 4 plus negative 5 equals negative 9. Notice this is the same thing as negative 4 minus 5. Don't memorize rules to add positive and negative numbers. Instead, sketch the number line to perform each addition problem. That way you know that you'll be correct every time. Here's a problem. 8 minus 2 equals 6. All right, so instead of moving to the right 2 spaces as in addition, subtraction moves in the opposite direction, which means we're going to move 2 spaces to the left. So we start with positive 8, so begin at 0, move 8 units to the right, then minus 2. Move 2 units to the left. Look down, we are at 6. How would we show 3 minus 8? All right, we start at 0. This is positive 3, so we move to the right 3 units. Then minus 8, we move to the left 8 units, and we end up at negative 5. Therefore, 3 minus 8 equals negative 5. How would we show negative 4 minus 6? Remember that negative 4 is shown by starting at 0, moving 4 spaces to the left, then minus 6, we're going to move 6 more units to the left, ending up at negative 10. The most potentially confusing case is subtracting a negative integer. How would we show 1 minus negative 6? We start at 0. First, we go 1 space to the right because of the 1. But then adding negative 6 spaces would take us to the left. However, we must do the opposite since we are subtracting. Therefore, we end up moving 6 more units to the right. Therefore, 1 minus negative 6 is 7. When we subtracted negative 6, it was the same thing as adding 6. This is because negative 6 is 6 spaces to the left. So when you go in the opposite direction, you go 6 spaces to the right. That's the same thing as adding 6. Subtracting a negative number is the same as adding a positive one. Think of 2 minuses make a plus. How would we show negative 7 minus negative 9? First, we're going to go 7 spaces to the left from 0. We end up here. If we're adding negative 9, we would then continue to go 9 spaces to the left. But since we're subtracting negative 9, we must go in the opposite direction. Therefore, we end up going 9 units to the right. And we end up at 2. Therefore, negative 7 minus negative 9 equals 2. We could rewrite negative 7 minus negative 9 to be negative 7 plus 9. So these two negative signs are going to cancel out and become a plus. Since subtracting a negative number is the same as adding a positive one, and you'll get the same result. Negative 7, so we start at 0, go to negative 7, then we're going to add 9, move 9 spaces to the right, and we end up at 2. Subtraction would be commutative for two different numbers, a and b, if a minus b equaled b minus a. Is that true? Well, let's try it. Let's assign a value of 4 and b a value of 5. So a minus b, 4 minus 5, well, that equals negative 1. However, b minus a, 5 minus 4, equals positive 1. Since negative 1 does not equal 1, that means that 4 minus 5 does not equal 5 minus 4. And in general, a minus b does not equal b minus a. Subtraction is not commutative. Subtraction is not commutative, but addition is, even when the addition involves negative numbers. Every subtraction problem can be converted into an addition problem, which is then commutative. In general, a minus b does not equal b minus a. However, it is always the case that a plus negative b equals negative b plus a. Addition is commutative.